Oh, I'm terrible when it comes to dates. Like, I couldn't tell you what today's date is. All I know is it's Friday and I got to do this on Friday. I couldn't tell you what the date is. It's not Super Bowl weekend, is it?
It's
Yeah.
getting late. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe it's almost December.
That could be a preview of the Super Bowl matchup. We're talking Eagles versus Baltimore Ravens.
Birds.
Sunday. Don't miss this game. Holy cow. You got Baltimore averaging 430 yards per game. You got Philadelphia averaging 389 yards per game. Baltimore's offense, Lamar and Derrick Henry and the wide receivers, the tight ends, they've scored 45 touchdowns this season. Baltimore's offense, 47% third down conversion rate. You can't get them off the field and then they hurt you. Philadelphia, their defense has given up just 274 yards per game. Boy, is that going to be some matchup. Those big, tough defensive linemen that Philadelphia's drafted 3 years in a row, they're going to stand in there and slug with Derrick Henry. And their blitz package, they're going to be chasing Lamar Jackson all over the field. It's going to be a battle of big plays. And then obviously Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. Oh, like I said, it's a Super Bowl weekend.
I know it is.
a
It's a preview.
couple of weeks ago, I thought these might be the Super Bowl teams. Part of me says, gee, it's a shame they're playing in December. We might see them in early February. Oh, this is a can't-miss game. Chargers, Atlanta Falcons. The Chargers were running around the streets of Southern California talking about their number one rated defense. And here on our podcast, they were saying, what the hell? Let me see what you do when you play somebody. Well, somebody was Joe Burrow, who threw for 426 and nearly beat him with the Bengals. And that somebody was Lamar and Derrick, and the Ravens punched him in the mouth last weekend. And now the Chargers on a plane going to Atlanta are battered. They were without 6 veteran players in practice this week. A number of them are not going to be able to play, including a whole swath of their linebackers. And they got to go to Atlanta. They got to meet Kirk Cousins. Cousins throws the hell out of the ball, especially at Atlanta. The thing is, I have now huge reservations about the Charger defense. And Atlanta hasn't played a shredded defense all season. There's that Kirk Cousins to win them games. Atlanta's given up 369 yards per game. That's pretty pitiful. So Justin Herbert throwing a ton, Kirk Cousins throwing against a battered secondary. I think that Atlanta Charger game is really going to be a shootout. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. This is interesting. You got Joe Burrow, who's got 34 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. I mean, Burrow's right arm is carrying everything in Cincinnati. Going against the Pittsburgh defense, got 24 takeaways, 25 sacks, and 33% conversion rate on third downs defensively. This is going to be fun. Now, Cincinnati's problem is they're averaging 354, but they're giving up 355. Can Pittsburgh punch Burrow in the mouth and slow him down? That, I think, is going to be a fun game in the AFC North. And, oh, by the way, weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're, all that lake effect snow, it's coming a lot of different places, especially in Buffalo. It's already started. First round of lake effect snow, and those storms just keep blowing in onto the Niagara frontier. You got the Bills have won 6 in a row, and they're going to play a San Francisco team that's just tattered. Bills offense is averaging 384 yards per game, and they're going to play a Niner defense and a Niner team that's got so many injuries. Josh Allen's got 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I don't know who the hell is going to start at quarterback. If Brock Purdy can't start because of the shoulder issue, San Francisco's dead. And I think their playoff hopes are probably gone. But they have to play a really tough Bills defense and have to play the weatherman at the same time. That's really hard. The final marquee game of the Rams versus the Saints. The only phrases I can use here are defense is optional. The Rams have force-fed all these kids. These kids have played really well. These kids look like they've hit a wall defensively. They really look fatigued. The Rams are giving up 362 yards a game now, which is a lot. Rams have surrendered 30 touchdowns on defense this season. That's a lot. But that's no problem because New Orleans has given up 390 yards a game. They're not playing a lick of defense. So Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, they'll just be running and gunning. And I bet they both throw for 350 in the course of this Rams game. And one of them the loser's going to be done. And the Rams sure hope it's not them. I just don't know. The Rams kids just look like they're gassed physically and emotionally this late in the NFL season. So, John, that's a sneak preview of the top games. Is it Super Bowl weekend?
Super Bowl weekend. Well, Philly and the Ravens sounds like a potential matchup, but you've got to think the Lions are probably a better favorite in the NFC than the Eagles.
But Detroit's got so many injuries. They lost 5 or 6 players on defense yesterday with significant injuries.
Oh,
they're running out of players. They were already down 3 of their top defensive linemen. They lost 2 more yesterday, but they've lost all 3 of their linebackers now. Detroit's in big trouble physically.
Interesting. Wasn't aware about that level of damage.
You got to get out of the house more.
I do. The second one, Chargers Atlanta. You know what I just discovered recently is that former San Diego State Aztec Jesse Matthews is on the Atlanta Falcons now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're going to get to see him this weekend.
Only if it's a blowout or somebody's hurt. I mean, they got good skill people. It's weird. Atlanta plays really well at home. Is it the Mercedes-Benz Dome? I think that's what they call it. They play really well there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play well on the road. And Cousins turns the ball over on the road. But this thing is in Dixie. And Justin Herbert, I think he'll throw for a chunk of yards because, like I said, Atlanta's giving up 369 a game. But I have no doubt the Charger defense is in big trouble because of just a lot of nagging injuries here. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to throw for a lot.
I have a question. You enjoy talking about the total number of yards that teams are getting on offense or giving up on defense. And this is good and that's bad. Share with me your opinion of what's good, medium, poor in terms of the ranges of yards given up.
If you're in the low 300s, if you can hold people under 320, that's pretty good. Because that means you're getting pass rush. That means you're getting sacks. That means you're getting off the field on third downs. That's why the Philadelphia number in today's modern day football, giving up only 274 yards a game, is phenomenal.
That is, yeah.
So anything south of 320 is impressive. And if you're under 300 this late in the season, you got yourself a bunch of really good defensive players,
Okay.
AKA Philadelphia. Offensively, yeah, you can put a lot of numbers up throwing the football. Now, if you pound it the way the Eagles and the Ravens are pounding it, that means you're killing defenses and they can't get off the field and you're going to score, even if you have a mediocre passing attack. And Baltimore and Philadelphia don't have mediocrity at quarterback. So you could be averaging 370, but how do you get there? Is it just chunk plays or are you just maiming people because you're running the ball, controlling the clock, and hitting touchdown passes? So yeah, anything in the NFL north of 350 is really good.
And then going back to the Chargers, remember before the Ravens game, they had the lowest points given up.
Past tense.
Past tense. But what was the number of yards that they were giving up?
I'm trying to think now off the top of my head. Their third down conversion rate was phenomenal before they played the Bengals and then Baltimore. I want to say they were giving up 12 to 13 points per game, but that was against nobody.
Yeah,
that was against backup quarterbacks and frightful, fearful rookie quarterbacks. And the minute they played Burrow, they gave up 27, and then they gave up 30 to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And they got smoked in terms of yardage with chunk plays everywhere. So, like I said, prove yourself. Well, they haven't proven it to me. Should have lost to Cincinnati. Definitely got punched in the mouth by Baltimore. Now it's tough. Now they got to go play Atlanta there, where Cousins plays well. And then on the way home, they got to go play at Arrowhead Stadium against you-know-who, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Tough assignment. I'm looking forward to the Niners-Bills game. I mean, how much snow are they expecting in Buffalo? It's like 4 to 6 feet, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's storm after storm. I mean, if you get blasted one time, no problem to plow the field. The fans going to show up anyhow. Fans don't care. Where's my Genesee beer? But if it's storm after storm, which is what the forecast is, these things start rolling in off the lake. That's constant snow. And if you got 21 inches, we plow it. And then you got 28 inches the next one, and we plow it. Where are you going to put the snow? It's a big issue. And to play in it is so hard.
Well, with NFL games, obviously they'll cancel if there's lightning. But have they ever canceled a game for just too much snow?
I think they probably have delayed. Maybe they delayed a game, but they pretty much let them play. Yeah. Cold weather too. Ice Bowl, Freeze Bowl back in the day,
Here we go.
1980s. Yeah. Oh, it's big weekend in the NFL for a wide variety of reasons. And of course, John's a sadist, so he has to watch Buffalo, San Francisco suffer in
That's
a
gonna
raging
be
blizzard,
tough.
Niagara Frontier. Hey, we get to halftime.